A second U.S. congressional delegation visits Taiwan. A U.S. congressional delegation led by Senate Ed Markey has arrived in Taipei on an unannounced two-day visit. Taipei, Taiwan, CNN. A U.S. congressional delegation led by Massachusetts Democrat Senate Ed Markey has arrived in Taipei on an announced two-day visit, the second U.S. congressional delegation to Taiwan this month. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi drew the ire of China when she became the first U.S. speaker to visit in 25 years at a time when Washington-Beijing relations has been especially tense. The new five-member delegation is visiting the self-governing Iceland in an effort to reaffirm the United States' support for Taiwan and will increase stability and peace across the Taiwan Strait, a spokesperson for Markey said in a statement. The delegation includes Democratic Republican John Garamendi, Alain Ruenter, and Don Beer, and Republican Amura Amata Coleman Raid Wagon, the statement added. The group led by Markey will meet with Taiwan's President Tsai Ing-wen and Foreign Minister Joseph Wu during the visit, and will also hold discussions with the Taiwanese Parliament, Foreign Affairs, and the National Defense Committee on Security and Trade Issues, Taiwan's Ministry of Foreign Affairs said. The Foreign Ministry added that it sincerely welcomed the delegation and thanked them for demonstrating the U.S.'s strong support toward Taiwan despite the escalating tensions with Beijing. The senator's spokesperson said the delegation will meet with elected leaders and members of the private sector to discuss the shared interests, including reducing tensions in the Taiwan Strait and expanding economic cooperation, including investment in the semiconductors. China hit back against the visit, saying it would take resolute countermeasures in response to the US's provocations in the statement Sunday from the Chinese embassy in Washington. Members of the US Congress should act in uh, consistent with the US government One China policy, embassy spokesperson Liu Pengyu said on Twitter. Liu said China firmly opposed any kinds of official ties between the US and Taiwan, and the latest congressional delegation visit proves that the US does not want to see stability across the Taiwan Strait and has spared no effort to stir up confrontation between the two sides and interfere in China's internal affairs. But China's ruling Chinese Communist Party views Taiwan as part of its territory, despite having never controlled it, and has long vowed to reunify the island with the Chinese mainland by force if necessary. Ahead of Pelosi's visit, Beijing had repeatedly warned of their consequences should the trip go ahead, even going as far as to warn US President Joe Biden that those who played with the fire would perish by it. During her trip to Taiwan, Pelosi, a California Democrat, said the visit intended to make it unequivocally clear that the US would not abandon the democratically governed Iceland. China responded to the speaker's trip by launching military exercises, which China's Ministry of Defense said began with drills in both the seas and airspace surrounding Taiwan. In addition to the drills, Beijing has cancelled the future phone calls between Chinese and US defense leaders, suspended bilateral climate talks and sanctions Pelosi and her immediate family. The White House has summoned China's ambassador to condemn the military activities and to stress the U.S. wish to avoid the crisis in the region. The White House has said there is no change to the U.S. One China policy and that Washington recognizes the People's Republic of China as the sole legitimate government of China. The U.S. maintains close unofficial ties with Taiwan and is bound by law to provide Taiwan with defensive arms, but it remains deliberately vague on whether it will defend Taiwan in the event of Chinese invasion, a policy known as strategic ambiguity. This story has been updated with additional background information. CNN's Daniela Diaz, Jeremy Herb, Wing Chang, and Leah Mogu contributed to this report.